Happy Monday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Monday, October 9th, 2023. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please have the first 5 cards in our 5-card spread? First card we are starting our day off with today is our King of Wands in its reversal. So, this is going to feel a little bit different depending on where you are as it relates to masculine or feminine energy, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. Masculine today, this could be feeling, again, in partnership right now. This could be working through some communication hurdles, or could be a feeling right now for masculine energy in partnership right now of having to overcome some feelings of creativity blocks or communication blocks. Again, if you are in partnership right now, this is something that potentially you are being supported with and by the energy you are in partnership with at this moment. For feminine, if you are in partnership right now, this could be experiencing some of these communication blockages and hurdles. As we identified right now for the energies that are in partnership, there was a bit of a disparity that we were effectively identifying between the masculine and feminine energy. Specifically, as I mentioned in our recap, feminine energy keeping a lot of focus right now in terms of the spaces and places of stability and practicality. Masculine's been moving more into a state or space of easement. This has potentially been causing some of these communication hurdles and rifts that need to be navigated today. While for masculine and feminine energy right now moving into partnership, this is a bit of that crux that we were seeing, specifically because as we identified for the energies trying to come into partnership at this moment, there was a moment of the feminine watching the masculine energy, trying to assess if their words effectively match their actions right now. For the feminine energy, there's a lot of communication that's effectively had as it relates to feelings right now, but feminine is in a space or place, as we identified with that strong pentacle energy, where feminine really wants to see the tangible results of the actual articulation of the feelings at this time. For feminine energy that is not seeing this is also something that is feeling like it is taking or been requiring some point of waiting. I even mentioned that for some of the energy, we saw the fact that this was feeling like the masculine was effectively delaying or taking time to navigate some of these feelings right now. For feminine, this is that moment that is potentially becoming a bit of a difficulty because this was a feminine energy that was already feeling a lot of trepidation as it relates to moving into partnership at this moment. For feminine, this is assessing and looking right now towards the masculine. For feminine right now, this could be feeling like there is a communication hurdle or blockage that is occurring right now for energies that are trying to come into partnership that is either being articulated as the feminine feeling like the masculine is not communicating fully with them. And unfortunately, this could also start to feel from the feminine energy that this is something that feels almost intentional. We want to be very careful about this kind of energy right now because this is feminine effectively starting to feel a lack of trust towards the masculine energy. While for masculine energy trying to move into partnership right now, this is related to some of those communication and passion hurdles we're effectively seeing. For the masculine energy that was trying to move into partnership at this moment, there was a feeling of anxiety, of feminine effectively asking you to move forward, to put in some tangible effort to back effectively what has been articulated prior to this point. For some of the masculine energy right now, there is even a feeling of limitation. Again, having to assess whether you understood or were recognizing that this may have required some point of compromise, that is effectively having some kind of difficulty or hurdle because it's requiring you to make some adjustments in your own plans. For half of the masculine energy that's going through this right now, this is more of that feeling of blockage, effectively trying to navigate whether you feel like this is a point of compromise that you're willing and ready to reach to move into divine union, or if this is feeling like more of that difficulty or hurdle that is preventing you from being able to do so. For half of the masculine collective right now, as we said, this is more of that breakage point that we're potentially seeing as it relates to whether you'll be able to come into union or not, because there's a point right now that is starting to feel like it is weighing against the masculine energy's own feelings of autonomy at this time. For some of the masculine energy right now, this is going to feel like an opportunity to grow or effectively recognize that you need to accommodate or adjust plans with the feminine to be able to move into deeper partnership. For the other part, as I mentioned, this may be feeling like a bridge too far, that too much of your own autonomy is at stake, at which point you may be pulling back from those connections. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is working or in separation. This is more of the feminine energy feeling this level or degree of cynicism right now as it relates to the masculine. As we articulated for a lot of the feminine energy right now, this is moving forward not with a lot of excitement, but almost with a point of wariness. There's a lot of feelings of that shared trauma that you've been carrying forward from this point that is making it very hard for you to be able to connect with masculine energy. We're also seeing that for a lot of the feminine energy and separation right now, this is a part of your own healing cycle, your own trauma process that you're going through right now and navigating that is making it difficult to connect to the masculine energy. We're seeing right now for the feminine energy and separation at this time, this may even be pulling back a bit from masculine energy today as you continue to focus on the self and your own healing going forward. While for masculine energy that is in separation at this time, this is potentially feeling some of these your own creative and communication hurdles as you proceed forward at this time. We were effectively identifying for a lot of the masculine energy right now that is moving into separation or is in separation, because we're almost seeing a lot of the masculine energy coming back into this right now, that this is a moment that you are feeling these blockages. It's requiring a little bit of that internal assessment to be able to figure out how to move forward in a way that you are making sure that your own needs and desires are being expressed in an authentic way going forward. Second card that we have coming through right now in our 5-card spread for today is, we have here our 9 of Pentacles, and we love to see this. This is speaking right now as a state of easement, going into spaces and places right now where you feel comfortable, where you feel at home, a return back into oneself, as it were. For masculine and feminine energy right now in partnership, this is leaning on the security of the partnership to give you support through any challenges and hurdles. This is going to be very valuable right now for the masculine energy specifically right now, because what we're really seeing is masculine, you are effectively going through some feelings of creative blockages right now, creative challenges, maybe even blockages in your center of passion at this time. But again, you are relying on the security of the partnership that is helping you come into a state or space where you recognize that it may require some point of recalibration and assessment right now, but you're still feeling the security of the partnership itself that is helping you navigate some of these challenges and difficulties at this moment. Feminine, you may be effectively trying to create this as well. There may be a feeling right now of feeling like there is some disparity in communication as it relates to the desires of masculine energy right now, even if you are in partnership at this moment. But again, you are doing everything we can right here. We see that more than anything, feminine is putting a lot of concentration right now on creating an environment of comfort, of stability, of security to help the masculine energy going through any of these blockages or challenges. While for masculine and feminine energy that is moving into or trying to move into partnership, divine union energy at this time, this is speaking towards some of that issue. Because again, what we're effectively seeing at this time is for the masculine and feminine energy right now that is effectively trying to work to come into partnership at this moment, there is a moment that for the masculine, you are effectively feeling to a certain extent that there is this moment of not necessarily having that certainty as it relates to being able to lay these plans out for yourself going forward. For half of the masculine collective right now, what we're effectively identifying is that moment of reaching an understanding of the power and the importance of compromise, potentially identifying and articulating the fact that yes, if you're moving into partnership, it is going to effectively require some adjustment on one's own plans, because effectively, it's going to effectively require the fact that it is going to be something that you cannot do from a state or place of autonomy. Instead, recognizing that you're effectively trying to assess the comfort level of both energies involved in partnership may be feeling like a bit of a curtail right now for the masculine energy as it relates to their own plans or path going forward. As I said, for some of the masculine collective right now, this is recognizing and weighing that the significance of the comfort and of the partnership almost outweighs one's own ability to have like that complete autonomy at this time, i.e. potentially moving into divine union energy at this moment. Well, for the other part of the masculine collective right now, this may be feeling right now like that bridge too far, that too much of one's own autonomy is effectively being called into question as it relates to coming into partnership, through which you may be cutting off communication or bringing back your energy towards oneself as it relates to going forward at this time. For feminine energy, you could potentially be seeing this right now in the masculine energy. You may be recognizing, we saw that for a lot of the feminine energy right now that's trying to come into partnership or union at this time, there was a very important moment where we're weighing and seeing the fact that for a lot of the feminine energy, there was putting effectively wanting to see masculine energy's words being put into action. Some of the feminine energy is continuing to see that level or degree of pullback. For the energy that's seeing that immediate movement, the masculine energy being able to go forward in this way, it's almost immediately leading into divine union energy, because it's that moment of effectively recognizing that this is energy that is able to come into a point of compromise, that is thus guaranteeing or affirming to the feminine energy that this is an energy that understands the value of divine union and is willing to operate accordingly. While for the other part of the feminine energy right now, this is them moving potentially back into a point of separation, having that point of confirmation of themselves that they're not necessarily in the space or place where they want to be with an energy of masculine that isn't willing to align in terms of coming into a point of compromise and growing together right now. So feminine energy is also returning their energy back to themselves and their own point of comfort, and potentially actually doing a lot of this work in terms of blocking this energy going forward. While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is moving in a state or space of separation, this is again the feminine energy building a lot of this feeling of stability around themselves at this moment. There is this feeling right now for the feminine energy that is in separation, that is feeling like there is a point of not necessarily having a desire to communicate or connect with masculine energy right now, because there's a strict confirmation or a strict barrier you're putting towards any energy that you feel isn't in a state or space that they're desiring divine union at this time. Feminine energy is staying very much to their own in this way, really kind of maintaining and following this vibration of what feels comfortable for them at this moment, regardless of effectively recognizing what the masculine wants, but only effectively looking towards masculine energy that's willing to collaborate in this capacity today. For masculine energy in separation at this time, we are also effectively seeing that you are going through this. You are putting a lot of your concentration on your own self at this moment. You are navigating or experiencing potentially some creative or communication hurdles, but you're doing what you can to find that level of security and stability within oneself and within what feels comfortable for yourself at this moment to help overcome some of these blockages. Third card we are getting right now in our 5-card spread for today is, we've got 2 cards coming out. Oh my goodness, everybody is in their reversals today. What is going through? We've got here our Queen of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Queen of Wands. So I want everyone to be very careful with their communication today to make sure that everyone is moving with like as much alignment as possible. I'm also going to say right now, if you're going through a lot of this energy, make sure that you're putting a lot of intention as it relates to what you're communicating versus how you are feeling right now. Because what we're really seeing right now is there's communication hurdles that are potentially coming both from feminine and masculine energy right now. These energies are mirroring each other, but also potentially feeling a lot of the blockages as they do so, which could require some point of adjustment at this time. For feminine energy right now specifically, even if you're in a partnership at this moment, there is this feeling that we're potentially seeing that is rising to the surface of feeling some level or degree of overwhelm. This could even be a moment right now that you're putting a lot of care and attention into what feels like it is most restorative for yourself at this time. Feminine energy is concentrating right now about what feels best for them, but they're also experiencing a point of overwhelm. Masculine and feminine right now, you are effectively matching these together, even in partnership at this moment. So what are you doing in the meantime? You are concentrating on creating as comfortable an energy as possible within the partnership to help you find that point of restoration. This is going to be a challenge even for the energies in partnership today. So make sure you're putting this care and attention into the levels of self-care. Now, for masculine and feminine energy that is in separation right now, this is also going to be a deeply challenging space right now, because we are seeing that these energies that are trying to come into partnership right now are mirroring each other to such a capacity that it's almost requiring this return to the self. I need to stress right now that if you are in separation or you're working through any of these challenges in terms of coming into partnership right now, make sure that you're moving with a lot of care and attention as it relates to your own sense of what feels best for you at this time. Making sure that you're not getting into a space or state of overwhelm right now is going to feel very important, because what are we effectively seeing is happening right now? We are effectively identifying that for both masculine and feminine energy, there is a moment that could potentially be feeling like an emotional or spiritually overwhelming moment. And what happens when we're in spiritually or emotionally overwhelming moments? We can misspeak. We can make choices that do not feel like they are in our best interest. Being able to navigate this right now is very important. Making sure that you're using that intention and focusing on what feels like it is going to support things, as opposed to allowing something that may need healing continue to go into a space or place that it's not necessarily benefiting in terms of what you're saying. It might be making things worse. I'm going to say right now, this is very triggering energy right now if you are moving right now or trying to come into partnership. So please be very cautious as to what you are articulating and making sure that it is in aligned with that intention as you proceed forward right now. Masculine and feminine energy that are working towards partnership at this time, this could even be resulting in a lot of lack of communication today, with the focus on care of the self, coming back into a state or place of balance. For masculine and feminine energy in separation right now, what we're effectively seeing is these energies are effectively completely reflecting oneself. And you guys always say this to me. You're always asking me, when are these energies going to come into alignment? Well, here you go. You guys wanted the alignment. We've got the alignment. And what's going to happen today? Probably not a lot of communication, or not potentially. And also potentially, I need to say this, the window or opportunity for non-productive communication to effectively occur, because these energies are moving completely in parallel. What happens when the energies are in parallel? Not a lot of exchange is what's happening, because they are effectively in the same exact space. So making sure to put this care and attention into the self right now is going to be very important going forward. Again, almost addressing and having that moment in terms of asking what feels like it is going to be most supportive. I will also say right now, for those who have a lot of unhealthy coping mechanisms, making sure that you're staying very focused on what feels like it is most supportive to yourself at this moment is going to be very valuable as you go forward today. So, fourth card in our 5-card spread for today is 2 cards, again, coming out for our 4th card for today. We like seeing these cards. We like seeing these cards, especially as it relates to some of the energy around this right now, because what we're effectively seeing right now is we have here our Empress card in combination with our Page of Pentacles. This is going to feel very much like that foundational restoration that we're seeing, particularly in the partnerships, specifically because for feminine energy, this is the focus on what feels best for the self at this moment. For the energies that are in partnership at this moment, this is that sense of the feminine returning back to oneself. Feminine energy is putting a lot of care and attention right now into what feels like it is most supportive and foundational going forward. Masculine, if you're in partnership right now, you are potentially receiving the benefits of this almost just by being in proximity with the feminine energy that is putting this focus on care of the self. Masculine energy in partnership right now is effectively trying to make the feminine energy feel more comfortable. This is the reciprocity that these two energies are doing right now in that divine union energy. Feminine is bringing love to a masculine energy that is feeling some of these communication or creative hurdles right now. Masculine is putting practical support to feminine energy, effectively saying to the feminine right now, what do you need to be able to feel more comfortable? This is helping the energy in partnership navigate some of these challenges and hurdles right now. While for masculine and feminine energy that is moving to try to come into partnership, this is effectively more of that make or break energy that we are seeing at this time. For the energies that are effectively coming into partnership right now, that are utilizing this to fall together as opposed to falling apart, this is what is effectively going to help restore the partnership going forward. Feminine is putting their focus on what makes them feel comfortable, what makes them feel supportive, what makes them feel like they are in a loving vibration right now. This is why the feminine energy may not necessarily even be communicating right now with the masculine, because what has the feminine effectively articulated to masculine energy that they're trying to come into partnership with? Feminine has given masculine energy effectively a very clear set of direction in terms of telling them what they effectively need in order to feel comfortable moving forward. The feminine energy that's effectively seeing this right now, it's what's allowing for those divine partnerships or divine unions to form. The masculine energy is willing to make those compromises necessary to bring this forward to the feminine, that is then creating a space or place for divine union to happen. For the other part of the collective right now, this is that separation point, that breaking away that is effectively turning it back into a separation scenario, specifically because, again, this is a feminine energy That is staying focused. They are not chasing after masculine energy right now as it relates to what it is that they are seeking to be able to form divine union and partnership at this time. Feminine energy is going forward right now and staying comfortable in terms of building this level or degree of care of the self at this moment. Feminine energy is potentially, has effectively said to the masculine energy, either bring forward, show me that you have this ability to do this, or the feminine energy is effectively staying where they are. Masculine, you're effectively feeling this right now. You're recognizing that this is a feminine energy that's staring very focused and fixed on what it is that they really feel that they deserve going forward at this point. The problem right now that we're seeing for the energies that are moving towards partnership right now is this is either a moment that the masculine energy is understanding the value and importance of being able to have to make some changes, some adjustments, some adapting in one's own life, in one's own plans, to be able to move closer to this energy. And that is what's allowing the divine union to occur. For half of the partnerships right now, this is bringing them together. For the other part, this is a bridge too far. This is potentially masculine energy moving away from the feminine right now because it is recognizing to the masculine that they understand that this is the only way to be able to come towards this energy right now. While for masculine and feminine energy in separation right now, this is exactly the modality that we are seeing that is causing these two energies to effectively be parallel right now as it relates to where they are and why there might not necessarily be a lot of communication at this time. Feminine energy is again staying extremely focused on only wanting to move towards masculine energy that is showing them in a tangible way that their words match their actions right now. Feminine energy is effectively again working to cut off or block any communication of masculine that feels like it's only moving from a space or place of their own passion right now. Masculine and feminine energy that's going through this right now, what we're effectively seeing is the fact that feminine energy, while they are staying very receptive towards masculine, we're not seeing a lot of movement here. Instead, feminine is effectively waiting for the masculine to come towards them. But that could be a bit of a problem area today, because where do we see the masculine today? Masculine in separation is feeling the blockage as it relates to their own creativity, to their own passion right now. They're putting a lot of focus on their own selves and their own set right now. And this, as a result, is effectively causing a circumstance or situation where we are identifying that the masculine is potentially in separation, trying to figure out what to bring forward towards the feminine. So, while we are potentially seeing right now in separation that masculine is effectively trying to come towards feminine, this is that articulation and identification that the masculine is taking right now to try to determine what that is that they should bring forth towards this feminine energy that is going to feel like it is productive and not going to make the feminine energy feel like it is coming from a state or place where it is solely based on their own needs or their own desires right now. Fifth card in our 5-card spread, before we start getting clarity on these cards right now, is we have here our Knight of Cups in its reversal. So even right now for the energies in partnership, there has to do with a lot of issues as it relates to communicating from an emotional and also from a passion level right now. Masculine energy today is feeling somewhat blocked. There are hurdles here for this masculine energy. Masculine energy is almost focused right now on trying to find spaces or places of comfort right now. And it is causing a bit of an issue. Because this is potentially right now a masculine energy, even in partnership at this moment. And I need to stress this right now. It's very important that in partnership at this time, the masculine may be feeling right now that there is an inability or to be able to communicate truly how they're feeling at this moment, truly from a point of passion. But again, this has to do with an internal hurdle right now, specifically as well because they see the fact that the feminine energy is in a space or place where they're requiring a lot of emotional support at this time. Masculine energy, and we have to appreciate this right now for the energies that are in partnership, you may even be feeling to a certain extent that you're setting aside your own needs right now to a large degree, specifically to be able to come forward in a very supportive way towards the feminine energy that's currently in your life at this time. We are seeing that you're effectively doing this right now, masculine, because you may be requiring or understanding that the feminine energy right now in your life at this time in partnership is at a place or space where they are feeling some level or degree of emotional overwhelm. You are doing everything you can right now to effectively support that energy, even at the cost of oneself. Feminine, you may be seeing this right now on the part of the masculine energy and also effectively wanting to assist in this way. But we're almost seeing right now the feminine energy is at a place right now in partnership that you're feeling so overwhelmed that it's almost like just taking everything it can just to come back into a state or space where you're feeling balance at this time. And this may also be exacerbated by the fact that the masculine energy is in a space or place where you guys are not necessarily communicating at the same level or vibration. So there's a lot of work right now that's potentially happening even in the partnerships right now, but a lot of it focused on bringing the feminine energy back into that state or space of being able to find that level or degree of care of the self right now that's so important. While for masculine and feminine energy that is working to come into partnership right now, what we're effectively identifying at this time is, again, this is going to feel like a lot of that make or break coming to the surface right now, specifically because, again, this is a feminine energy that's staying very focused in terms of their own feeling of what feels like it is coming from a space or place of true romantic authenticity. Where is feminine energy effectively seeing that point of romantic authenticity right now? Practical, in the realm of practicality, in the realm of actually seeing something that feels tangible right now for the feminine. Feminine is effectively in a space or place right now where, again, in a way, for the feminine that is working to come into partnership, words, emotionality, passion are not effectively enough. This is a feminine energy that's finding and working on a state of building comfort for themselves ever since that Venus in retrograde cycle. Feminine energy is even recognizing this moment of potentially feeling a point of overwhelm. They may be feeling, this is giving a lot of articulation right now for feminine energy that may have a lot of things to say towards the masculine that isn't showing up in this way to them, but feminine energy is almost recognizing before they start saying it that it wouldn't even necessarily be beneficial to them to communicate it, because it would just effectively exacerbate their own feeling of, again, not being heard, not being able to activate or make this point of adjustment. Feminine needs to effectively see right now that point of tangibleness on the part of the masculine right now if they're moving into partnership at this moment. For some of the feminine, you are seeing that adjustment being made, and it is allowing for divine union to occur. For the other part of the collective right now, you're effectively not seeing that, and this could be, again, one of those moments that could be creating a lot of spaces or places of blockages, ending of communication, because you're feeling to a certain extent that this is masculine energy that is only coming towards you from the state of serving their own needs, as opposed to recognizing what you may need, to allowing this to be a point of reciprocity, as opposed to something that feels like it is just one directional. Masculine, you may be understanding and recognizing this right now with the feminine energy that you're trying to move into partnership with. There may be a moment right now where you may be trying to articulate to this energy your own passion or your own emotions. But what we're effectively seeing right now is there's almost a feminine energy right now that may be experiencing some point of blockage here in terms of recognizing or identifying that they're trying to articulate that this doesn't feel like enough for them. These two energies are mirroring each other. So again, we're seeing here that there's a moment that is effectively requiring you to be able to show some tangible way to articulate how you're feeling and your passion in a very tangible way right now. If you're in this modality, this may even be feeling right now like you have to make some adjustments to your own plans. This is coming into a point of recognizing the power, the beauty of being able to compromise to work in union with energy as it relates to the plans going forward, hence divine union occurring, versus energy that this is potentially feeling like a bridge too far. But what's important about it right now is you may be identifying and articulating that this is effectively occurring at this time, which is now allowing you to move forward with a sense of intentionality. Again, recognizing that this is a choice that you're effectively making rather than something that is feeling like oppositional or confusing for you. This is masculine energy making the intentional choice right now if coming out back into separation, in effectively not necessarily being ready to come forward in that way toward feminine. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our King of Wands and its reversal in combination with our Nine of Pentacles. So even for the energies in partnership right now, this could be feeling like a lot of communication hurdles that need to be worked through today, particularly in the realms of planning. Masculine may even be feeling like they need to lend a lot of assistance right now to the feminine, which may be causing some issues, and again, around the masculine's own ability to drive forward on their passions at this time. Feminine in partnership right now is potentially feeling a bit of overwhelm within the partnership that is also requiring a lot of this energy being brought back to the self right now. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification. Two cards coming out to clarify right now. We've got here, I have to say, there's a lot of energy right now about feminine really coming back into their self right now. We see this right now with our Queen of Cups in combination with our Ten of Cups in its reversal. So what do we see here that is so important and valuable, even through some of these communication hurdles and blockages that we are experiencing right now? Particularly in partnership at this time, we are seeing that this is really valuable because while there may be a moment right now that there is some kind of point of course correction that's happening, specifically as it relates to the partnership energies at this moment, we are seeing that this is feminine energy that is able to maintain a level or degree of emotional balance even when there are difficult conversations, there are situations or circumstances that make them feel fearful based on what that long-term future scenario is right now. This is not necessarily a feminine energy that is flagging in the face of something that is difficult. Rather, this is a feminine energy that is looking at things with a lot of emotional balance in order to amend and correct for anything that feels like it is imbalanced. Masculine energy right now, if you are currently experiencing this, this is again one of the reasons that you're building that level of certainty as it relates to partnership at this time, because this is effectively creating a space or place where even in the face of some sense of uncertainty as it relates to the future, this is a feminine energy that stays very practical, that stays very grounded, that works on that point of practicality and keeping an emotional balance. And this is what's helping the masculine energy that is effectively navigating this even through some of these communication hurdles and blockages. This is what is supporting the partnered energies at this time. Feminine, this is again that level or degree of practicality, because even while we are seeing that there may be some immediate communication hurdles that you're having right now as it relates to partnership, we are also identifying that this is a masculine energy that shows up for you very consistently, that is always willing to be able to make those accommodations to make sure that you have that point of comfort. And that is what is also securing the partnership energy as you go forward from this point. Now, for masculine and feminine energy that is working to come into partnership right now, this is, again, that moment that we are seeing that is either requiring a point of observation, because what are we identifying right now for the energies that are trying to come into partnership at this time? Masculine, there may be a moment right now that you are recognizing that this is that accommodation point, because while we are seeing, again, for some of the masculine energy at this time, there is a point of having to look at your long-term future plans, your long-term future scenario. This is a moment right now that for either half of the masculine collective right now that is working to come into partnership, this is identifying whether you're willing to be able to come into that point of really being able to understand the value of being able to compromise, of not necessarily being able to make autonomous plans, but instead coming into a collaborative energy with feminine, because this is a feminine energy that you may be identifying right now that is very good at building a sense of comfort, that is very emotionally balanced. Thank you for the gift. Masculine energy at the moment, the reason that this now, again, we are almost seeing a bit of that cycling that's effectively happening right now for the masculine energy, because again, whether coming into partnership right now, it is not due to the fact or the uncertainty of the feminine effectively being in a point of balance. This is more about the fact of whether you are in a state or place where you actually decide or desire partnership at this moment. This is more of the energy that we're seeing that is now coming to the forefront right now, again, of seeing masculine energy, wondering or questioning whether coming into union or partnership is something that they truly desire at this point, because it's almost creating a space or place of the masculine recognizing that the only thing that would effectively need to be sacrificed in order to come into divine union and partnership would be the ability to effectively be able to make plans autonomously at this moment. Masculine energy right now, this is potentially even creating a space or place right now where it may be hard to articulate what you're feeling, because it is muddying your own feeling about what that future looks like. If a masculine energy isn't communicating right now in partnership or trying to come into partnership, it could be because there's a lot of assessment right now as to them really asking themselves what they want in the long term at this moment to identify and articulate if this is something that they can coalesce with the feminine right now. For feminine, the problem here is not about the manifestation. The feminine knows exactly what it is that they're trying to manifest right now. But one of the problems right now is effectively, and this is the challenge point for the energies trying to come into partnership at this moment, there's a feeling that the masculine energy is blocking the manifestation goal. There's a feeling right now that due to some communication hurdles, due to some planning obstacles, that this is potentially not masculine energy that's working in harmony with the feminine, but it's almost feeling oppositional. And this is why right now we're seeing the fact is there's a bit of a crux happening for the energies trying to come into partnership, because this is now the feminine energy questioning the possibility of whether, if they're seeing a masculine energy in this vibration, whether there even is a possibility of having that long-term manifestation, because again, this isn't something that the feminine recognizes that they can force out of the masculine energy. They just need to see the masculine energy there and prepared to accept it. This is what is creating some of that challenge and hurdle right now for the feminine, as they're now looking at the masculine and they're asking themselves if this is the type of energy that they can truly build a future with going forward. While for masculine and feminine energy right now in separation, again, this is feminine energy working right now just very much focused on their own self at this time. For feminine energy right now, and this is a problem that is feeling a bit oppositional right now for the feminine energy in separation, this isn't necessarily a feminine energy that effectively needs or feels like they need the masculine in order to build that. In fact, they're looking for masculine energy that is aligned in terms of the long-term manifestation goal. For feminine energy and separation right now, we're almost seeing that the feminine energy's fear of allowing the wrong energy in that might disrupt their own plans or their own manifestation is actually almost like overriding right now their own desire to come into partnership, which is why we may not be seeing a lot of activity right now in the realm of the feminine moving towards masculine right now. Feminine's looking for some tangible reason not to believe that this is the case. While for masculine energy in separation right now, this is a bit of the hurdle or crux that you're effectively feeling right now, because you're seeing the feminine energy effectively vibing in this way. You're potentially seeing a feminine energy, if you're in separation, very much at a point of emotional balance. They're working very much on building that level or degree of stability for themselves at this moment. The problem is now that you're effectively, you may even be feeling right now for the masculine energy in separation, almost like looking out from the outside looking in, wanting to be able to come towards this energy right now, but also recognizing the feeling that either you are feeling like you are tangibly blocked or metaphysically blocked in some way. And it is creating doubts right now, because we see here that there's masculine energy that desires to communicate, but is also feeling an uncertainty in terms of how. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Nine of Pentacles in combination with our Ace of Cups in its reversal, in combination with our Queen of Wands in its reversal. So again, I need to stress for all energies today, I want to make sure that you're not operating from a trigger point. I'm going to say this. I wish I came on earlier to warn you guys, okay? Make sure that you're thinking before you speak today. Make sure that you're using your intentions, making sure that you're not speaking or coming from a space or place of emotional overwhelm right now is going to be very important, because there's a lot of emotionality here today, okay? Identifying that even the energies right now are reflecting each other. So this could be a lot of things that are effectively said before they're thought about. There could be a lot of reactivity today. We want to avoid this if we can, okay? Even for the energies that are in partnership right now, there needs to be a focus on making sure everybody feels comfortable. Working instead from a state or place of comfort, of building that security in partnership right now is going to feel very valuable and important. And for masculine today, there could even be a feeling of having to like recalibrate or adjust your own plans right now for the sake of making the feminine energy feel more comfortable at this moment, even in partnership, because we are seeing here that the feminine energy almost needs a lot of support right now through some circumstances or situations that are making them feel somewhat emotionally or spiritually overwhelmed. Now, clarification between these cards right now is we are seeing here our Sun card in its reversal. What has the feminine energy? We are seeing here the feminine energy is going through a moment right now that is feeling like a lot of heaviness as it relates to emotionality. Feminine energy, I really want you to focus on self-care today. Being able to maintain a positive vibration is going to be very key, because we are seeing right now, especially for feminine energy, there is potentially a feeling right now that is struggling, a lot of hurdles that need to happen right now in the realm of keeping one's own sense of optimism at play. How is the feminine energy going to work on keeping their optimism at play? I want you to focus a lot on your manifestation goals right now. Don't get caught in your immediate feeling, but focus instead on building that brighter future for yourself going forward from this point. Feminine energy needs some of this support from the masculine right now. There's something that's effectively happening right now for the feminine where they need this level or degree of positivity brought to them from the masculine energy. Masculine, you may be feeling like you need to make some accommodations right now to potentially help the feminine energy through some of these emotional hurdles that they may be experiencing right now. But again, this is a unified sense of building that supportive energy in partnership that is feeling very fundamental to the partnership at this moment, but is also preserving the partnership as you go forward from this point. Feminine energy needs this level or degree of care at this time. Masculine energy is rising to the challenge of lending that support, and that is what is securing and solidifying the partnership energy. Masculine and feminine energy trying to come into partnership at this moment. This is a bit of that challenge going forward, because what we are effectively identifying right now is, again, for masculine and feminine energy that is trying to come into partnership at this time, what we're effectively identifying at this moment is, again, a feeling. The feminine energy is feeling a lot of doubts right now. And the problem that's happening right now that's coming through for energies trying to come into partnership at this moment is, where is the feminine energy feeling doubt right now? Towards the intentionality of the masculine energy. Because again, we're seeing that this is potentially feminine energy that has asked the masculine energy to show some tangible way to articulate the difference between a desire that they're trying to move towards right now or an emotional expression versus actually seeing something that shows them in a tangible way that the masculine is committed to the idea of moving into divine union at this time. Feminine energy, I've been articulating. The longer it takes to see this from the masculine, the more one's own doubts and fears grow. So this is now feminine energy that's potentially even feeling a need to pull away from masculine energy if it hasn't been immediately willing to come forward in this way, because it is the time or the space, as I've been identifying. It is the vacillation point. It is the uncertainty that is calling the feminine into feeling that sense or degree of uncertainty about whether there could be the possible potential for partnership. For masculine energy at this moment, this is again that point. We've been seeing this vacillation coming into play. This is either masculine energy right now that is, again, either focusing on one's own self, potentially because you're now seeing a feminine energy that's not communicating with you as much. You might even be wondering why. Well, this is why. Because the feminine energy asked you potentially to take some kind of step. And if they saw any point of vacillation in it, this is now a feminine energy that's putting that care and attention back into themselves because they're going through something that feels very overwhelming. Because they were hoping that this wouldn't be something that would require a pause point, but would instead just be something that you moved very quickly to address. For masculine and feminine energy that is in separation right now, this is more of not necessarily seeing a lot of activity from both of these energies. This is feminine energy right now that's feeling the frustration towards the masculine. But again, they're looking right now with a lot of focus of only wanting to allow energy in that feels like it is coming from a state or space of immediate authenticity, of tangibles, of being able to put words to actions right now. If feminine energy is not in connection with masculine, that lack of communication is not fortifying the partnership. It's reaffirming to the feminine energy the fact that that partnership was not one that was building towards a long-term future scenario. I keep saying, this isn't a moment that time heals all wounds. This is almost like a wound that just keeps growing in the space or place of masculine and feminine not being in connection. Feminine energy is reaffirming to themselves at this moment that the care of the self needs to return to the self, and feminine is reaffirming the fact that they're only moving towards masculine energy that is showing that tangible ability to come forward them. Feminine isn't moving towards any masculine energy today, which is why we might not see a lot of activity here. I'm also seeing the fact that for some of the feminine energy that is feeling very reactive to masculine that isn't communicating appropriately, I'm also going to say again, make sure your words match your actions right now, because these are very triggering. These are very triggering energies that we're seeing at play here. Making sure that you're utilizing that, moving from a state of intentionality instead of a state of upset is going to be very, very important right now. Masculine energy right now that is in a moment of separation from feminine, this is also feeling like a point of deep overwhelm that we are potentially seeing right now as it relates to the connection of the energies. These energies are mirroring each other right now, okay? There's a focus on what feels best in this moment. Masculine, you may also be feeling this feeling of emotional overwhelm at this time. A lot of that feeling of uncertainty coming into play right now. But again, this is potentially due to the fact that you are feeling some point of separation right now in terms of how to connect to the feminine. You may even be feeling something that feels very overwhelming at this time as you are trying to work through this, because what we're seeing at this moment is for masculine, there's something about the separation that's effectively coming into play right now that is feeling very overwhelming. Even if you're trying to move away right now into new partnership opportunities, we're almost seeing that it's almost happening from a place or a point right now where you're feeling the overwhelm, as it were. This could even be a moment right now that we're potentially seeing right now for some of the masculine energy, where like the desire to move towards an energy right now is what is pushing you towards new energy. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now, between our Queen of Wands in combination with our Ace of Cups in its reversal, in combination with our Empress, and in combination with our Page of Pentacles. A lot of cards at play here. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Five of Swords and Five of Wands in its reversal, which we love to see right now, because what we're really identifying is a need for peace. Peace being brought into situations, finding that path of easement, which is what we really want to see right now. Masculine and feminine energy that is in partnership at this moment, trying to find that point of peace right now, is actually what is actually showing the layer and the ability of the strength of the partnership at this time. Why? Because we see that you're both in matching vibrations. There's something here where you're feeling that exhaustion as it relates to your own center of passion, as it relates to your own need for care at this time. But again, for the energies that are working in partnership at this time, this is that moment that you're doing everything you can for each other in this moment to support one another. Masculine energy is running to the support of the feminine. Feminine is needing a bit of this care for the self at this time. This is what is empowering both of the energies through something that you're both equally sharing. While for masculine and feminine energy that is trying to come into partnership at this time, this is more of that make or break that we're effectively seeing, because what we're almost seeing here, I need to stress this, this is the separation in perception as to what is occurring in the energies trying to come into partnership right now. And it has entirely to do with the perception of the energy, specifically from the point of view of the masculine, because what we're effectively seeing right now is, again, this is either masculine energy seeing the feminine energy that is closing off communication, that is withdrawing back into themselves, or potentially lashing out. This is either masculine energy right now that is seeing this as a moment of the feminine energy not necessarily taking care of themselves, being in a point of emotional overwhelm. This is potentially withdrawing the masculine energy that is thus mirroring this. And that's going to lead to separation. Or this is masculine energy that is identifying a feminine energy that is articulating their needs, that is trying to clearly articulate their needs. They are standing their ground in terms of what it is that they're truly seeking in partnership. This is feminine energy that's maintaining a point of balance as they do so, not allowing themselves to come into a point of overwhelm, but just holding firm in terms of what they're seeking. And this is what is bringing the masculine energy towards the feminine. So I'm going to say it again. I would like to make sure that everyone is not acting from a space or place of getting triggered today, but is instead letting their intentions guide their actions. I'm saying that, and I'm marking it in red pen today, because I don't want to hear it tomorrow if you do not do that, okay? While for masculine and feminine energy that is in separation right now, this is a moment of, again, masculine. This is a lot of confusing energy right now for separation. I just got to say it. For masculine energy that is in separation right now, This is either one or two different scenarios that are effectively coming into play right now. Masculine energy, this again, we saw that for a lot of the masculine energy, this makes perfect sense on what we've been seeing. Masculine energy, we saw the fact that there was potentially a feminine energy that you wanted to move back towards. You wanted to heal this, right? This was, again, a moment right now that we're either recognizing that the masculine energy is moving into the vibration of trying to heal this with the feminine. And again, this is something that is almost feeling very overwhelming because, again, there may be something right now about feeling like you're having a lot of this emotionality towards this feminine energy. This could be feeling like you're coming forward in a way right now to a feminine. This could even be a feminine that you haven't communicated to in quite some time. And it's almost like you're trying to override the overwhelm by having something that feels something small, but that small putting forward feels incredibly overwhelming because this is what's like really happening on the surface. You're bringing this forward in a small gesture that has a lot of emotionality attached to it. So this is either masculine energy coming towards their heart desire in this way. And that's bringing immediate peace. For the other part of the masculine collective right now, this is feeling and carrying the overwhelm for the energy that you're not necessarily feeling confident to go towards right now, but instead you're turning your attention to outside energy. This is the energy that was not necessarily ready to heal the karmic energy, but instead is looking to almost repurpose and move this to something else, as opposed to facing what they're experiencing on the internal level, again, seeking peace. These are two different separation points right now in the masculine collective. Feminine in separation right now, this is again a moment that we are seeing that you are paying a lot of attention right now towards your own feeling of emotional overwhelm. Again, feeling potentially some frustration in terms of being able to put that in the space or place that you would ideally desire at this time. This is more of that healing energy that we were effectively identifying at this time. But instead, what we appreciate for the energy right now that is working in a point of separation, this is effectively feminine energy coming out of their own hurdle. Feminine energy is, again, not letting themselves come into a space or place of emotional overwhelm, but returning that care to the self and staying very firmly affixed in terms of only allowing energy in that shows that ability and capacity of actually tangibly expressing how they feel right now. And this is also bringing the feminine energy peace. This is not necessarily a feminine energy that is seeking to run back to something that is not effectively communicating to them, but instead refocusing that care of the self to themselves and recognizing that they are waiting for masculine to come towards them. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Empress energy in combination with our Page of Pentacles, in combination with our Knight of Cups in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with, we love to see this card today. You see, everything's coming out roses. You just got to give it a minute, okay? What do we have right now? We've got here our Six of Pentacles. So what is happening right now that's allowing the energies and partnership to continue forward through this right now? Reciprocity. Even give and take. There's a moment right now that the masculine, you may be feeling right now that you're kind of like blocking your own self right now. You may even be holding back in terms of what you want to express to feminine right now because you're recognizing in partnership that the feminine needs some tangible support. You're supplying it to them, you're holding back, but you're recognizing that, again, in order to do this, this is why this is divine partnership energy. Masculine's recognizing that they're effectively paying it forward right now in partnership. That while there may be a moment right now that masculine needs to kind of put their own feelings on the shelf to be able to support the feminine, this isn't necessarily something that they're not going to get back. This is masculine energy realizing that they're doing this to be able to support the feminine energy so that the feminine energy can give back to them in kind as it relates to the feminine energy's own capacity and ability to love, to express love, to be in that passionate center. This is not masculine energy effectively like putting their feelings on the shelf, but this is masculine energy almost investing in the bank of love that is the feminine energy in partnership, recognizing that while they may need to hold off today in terms of their own emotionality, as soon as feminine's back in that vibration, they're going to get it back in spades. While for feminine right now, this is also a moment that you could be identifying and you could be seeing the fact that the masculine is doing this. You could be identifying right now in divine union or partnership that this is a masculine energy that is almost able to put their own emotional needs aside, even albeit temporarily, for the sake of coming to your assistance. And this is further encouraging you in your own ability or degree to want to give back to this energy in kind. Well, for masculine and feminine energy right now, moving into partnership at this moment, this is effectively that make or break point that we're seeing, because what we identifying at this time? This is identifying, again, masculine energy. There is something deeper that is coming to the surface right now if you're moving into partnership with feminine, because this is a feminine energy that is effectively not chasing after you to a certain degree. This is a feminine energy that is recognizing their own value. They're recognizing their own worth. They're effectively looking at you right now, and they're even having a point of view in terms of fact of not necessarily coming through right now in terms of accepting emotional appeals. This is a feminine energy that's almost like having a bit of an attitude of saying, like, listen, how you feel about me is great, but I need to be able to see that in actual tangible practice. I need to be able to see that there's something that is befitting your actions that also come in service of your words. This isn't even coming from a space or place of selfishness. This is potentially even a feminine energy that's articulating that this is what feels reciprocal, that this is about reciprocity. This is about even give and take. Masculine energy right now, this is that moment where partnership, this isn't necessarily just coming into partnership with feminine right now. This is a moment that you're recognizing that this is, again, possibility of divine union, that this is a feminine energy that's saying basically, are you able to come into a point of recognizing that in order to come into divine union, you have to compromise your own plans and your own passion so that we can collaborate and build that type of energy together. Half of the masculine collective, you are moving forward into partnership dynamic, coming into divine union, recognizing that this is occurring. Other part of the collective right now, this is effectively you pulling away from this right now, not necessarily ready or prepared to have that type of reciprocity in play. For masculine and feminine right now that is in separation, this is effectively, again, feminine energy is staying very focused on their own self right now, even through some circumstances and situations that may feel emotionally or spiritually challenging at this time. Feminine energy, even if they're feeling some of this overreactiveness right now, feminine energy is choosing to effectively not react. And I will point out, I will say, for some of the feminine energy right now, making sure that you effectively do not speak out of terms of what you are truly intending right now is going to be very important right now, because there could be something that is happening right now internally that is feeling somewhat emotionally triggering. But for the energies in separation, this is feminine, again, coming out of that effectively by reinforcing and remembering to themselves the value and importance of energy that is coming from a place or space of reciprocity. This is what is effectively allowing the feminine right now not to effectively chase masculine energy that is withholding emotions at this time, but instead looking towards energy that is effectively recognizing and understanding, actually showing something tangible to the feminine energy right now. So this is more of that healing process that we see that the energy and separation is working through right now. It could be feeling very triggering today. It could be feeling very emotionally overwhelming. But we appreciate this because we're seeing that the feminine energy is effectively coming back into support of themselves by focusing on the manifestation goal, which is energy that is reciprocal. Masculine energy right now that is in separation, this is, again, a moment that may be feeling highly triggering for you, particularly if you are in separation. Because, again, we are seeing right now that for the masculine energy, there may even be a focus right now, a direction that you want to bring that sense of energy to. For some of the masculine collective right now, this is potentially denying your own emotions at this moment as you give forth into other spaces or places, because you are recognizing how much work needs to effectively be done right now to heal that connection. For the other part of the masculine collective right now in separation, this is that moment that, again, you may be doing a very small gesture towards feminine right now that feels very emotionally overwhelming because you're trying to rebuild that sense of reciprocity with this energy. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Between our 10 of Cups in its reversal, in combination with our Queen of Cups, in combination with our Sun in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our 8 of Swords in its reversal, and we love to see this. Now, for masculine and feminine energy that is in partnership right now, this is the value and the security of the partnership. Because, again, What are we effectively seeing right now? Masculine, you may be feeling like you have to really come to the aid of the feminine right now. Feminine energy is potentially moving, and even masculine right now. This is some energy where there's kind of mutual challenges that are effectively occurring. Masculine and feminine, there is this feeling of having to overcome some emotional hurdles and barriers right now, potentially even some anxiety as it relates to the long-term path and the long-term goal going forward. What we appreciate, what masculine potentially appreciates right now for the feminine energy that they are in partnership with at this time, is the fact that this is a feminine energy that is effectively able to navigate a momentary present circumstances that feel like they are difficult, as well as anxiety as it relates to the long term, without effectively allowing it to emotionally affect them in a way that they cannot carry their own emotions. This is effectively showing feminine energy that is able to be very emotionally balanced throughout very challenging situations. This is effectively what is liberating both energies that are feeling this right now. Masculine energy is effectively coming to the support of the feminine, almost trying to help them recognize the fact that these things or these fears that they're feeling are not the case. This is masculine energy in tangible ways showing the feminine that they don't have anything to fear as it relates to these things. That is how the masculine energy is supporting the feminine right now in partnership at this moment, effectively freeing the feminine of their doubts and fears. Masculine energy right now for feminine in partnership. Feminine, you are feeling that immediate support from a masculine. There's potentially a need that you articulated to the masculine, that masculine is even putting aside their own emotional needs at this time to be able to lend you the support. And this is what is effectively liberating you at this time to continue to maintain a point of emotional balance in partnership at this time, because you are recognizing that you are in a partnership that allows you to openly discuss your anxieties, your doubts, and fears without them becoming powder kegs, but instead allowing them to be places and spaces where there is easement, where there is security that is immediately brought to the fold as it relates to you articulating and expressing those anxieties in a balanced way. For masculine and feminine energy that is trying to move into partnership or union at this time, this is effectively, again, that moment of identifying. And this is why it's going to feel very heavy right now, because there's something deeper that is happening right now as it relates to the feminine observing the masculine and really trying to identify if they truly desire divine union and partnership at this time. This is no longer a matter right now for feminine as it relates to whether the energy is passionate about them. This is no longer a matter right now about whether the energy has emotional feelings for them. Feminine energy that is working to come into union right now is effectively saying those are not the same as wanting to come into divine union. Those are not the same. And the feminine energy is effectively looking at a masculine energy that is willing to understand the value and importance of being able to compromise, to be able to put forward to feminine in a way that they can collaborate in a tangible way that is helping to articulate to the feminine energy whether there is a possibility of that type of partnership with the masculine energy. That is what is effectively happening right now. There's suddenly a moment right now where the feminine is identifying not just whether the masculine energy desires something, but whether feminine energy is actually seeing whether this masculine energy has the capacity for it based on their present reaction to circumstances. Masculine right now, you are potentially at a point right now where, again, you're either coming towards the feminine immediately with what they're offering right now, desiring to move into union, and that is immediately liberating the circumstances. You're potentially moving into divine union. The other part of the masculine energy right now, this is that moment that you may be vacillating because you're looking right now at, again, you're seeing right now a feminine energy that you have an emotional connection with. But again, this is a feminine energy that needs to see the future potential to be able to have present success. And this is that moment that, again, you're either moving towards divine union with this energy or you're breaking away, recognizing that that breakaway point has more to do with your own desire as it relates to whether you are ready to go into divine union or not. Heavy energy right now for the partnerships. Feminine can basically observe the masculine in this capacity right now. Feminine may have already made their mind up around this. For masculine and feminine in separation right now, this is more of the feminine energy maintaining a point of emotional balance through some circumstances that feel presently difficult. Feminine's not in a place right now where they're feeling very positive, but what we appreciate about the feminine energy and separation right now is you're staying very emotional balanced, even through something that feels somewhat heavy today. And you're feeling, again, a lot of those doubts and fears as it relates to your long-term manifestation goal. But what are we seeing? The feminine energy is maintaining a point of emotional balance, because the feminine energy is, again, recognizing that they're not going to be able to find that by having to rush back to situations and circumstances that have clearly shown them that they cannot provide that, nor do they desire to. This is a feminine energy that is staying very grounded and looking for the tangible energy that is showing them that they desire it in kind. Feminine energy isn't in a space or place where they're trying to convince someone that divine union is good. Feminine energy is just like, you either want divine union or you don't. Masculine energy right now, again, if you are in separation at this time, this is that moment that, again, a lot of focus right now that we are seeing towards a feminine energy that is at a point of emotional balance right now. This is that moment that, again, we are seeing. This is masculine energy either going towards new feminine energy to ascertain, again, if there's a possibility of long-term plans here, and also about present circumstances. And we also need to articulate that for some of the masculine energy right now, remember how we talked about them taking a different take? This is a masculine energy with a very specific perception in terms of what they desire in partnership. This is potentially bringing it forth to feminine right now. This is masculine energy taking that risk and articulating what it is that they're seeking, recognizing that the feminine energy might not be aligned to it, taking that risk, but also recognizing that there's a point of liberation here. So this is either the masculine energy doing this right now towards present feminine energy that they're trying to move into new partnership with, or this is masculine energy going back to a feminine energy that they feel a lot of connection to, trying to see if they can remedy this old situation that did not result in what they ideally desired, expressing their feelings about where they find themselves now, all for the sake of trying to heal the partnership. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Sun card in its reversal in combination with our Five of Wands in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our King of Cups, and they're in, they're upright. We love to see this right now. Now, if you are in partnership right now, this is effectively why the partnership is working. Because what have we just seen occurred? What did we just see occur? In the partnership, we have identified that this is a feminine energy that was feeling a point of overwhelm, that required the masculine energy to put their own passion and emotions aside for a moment to be able to come forward in a very tangible way for the feminine, recognizing that they're paying it forward as it relates to reciprocity. Feminine energy in partnership, seeing that, recognize that this is the energy of King of Cups. This is a masculine energy that is emotionally balanced enough that they can articulate their emotions. They don't operate from a space of reactivity. They're able to be able to build that strong foundation, because this is masculine energy that has done the work of aligning with their feminine self. Masculine energy that is able to be vulnerable but also be strong. Bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. This is why the partnership is persisting and strong. Masculine energy right now, if you're in partnership with feminine, you are recognizing a space or place where, again, you can have moments where, again, you are able to potentially come to the support of the feminine, put your own passions and your own needs aside to a certain extent to be able to assist the feminine as needed, because again, you recognize that this is a space or place that when you emotionally need it, the feminine energy is able to do this to you in kind. And this is what is also helping you on your own growth, because you're recognizing that you are in partnership that allows you to build towards this manifestation of this in yourself. You're able to securely find that sense of security and comfort, because again, even when things are not looking positive, there's still peace to be found in the partnership, which is helping you achieve that manifestation goal of coming into balance within oneself. This is the energy of he who is content can never be ruined. The partnership is the contentment engine. For masculine and feminine partnership, this is what the partnership is providing right now. Now for masculine and feminine energy working to come into partnership or divine union right now, this is that moment, because this is the moment that is effectively assessing whether this is something that can happen. Feminine energy, if they're not seeing the masculine energy with this ability to do so at this time, feminine is effectively potentially walking away from the connection. Because feminine energy is either seeing and recognizing a masculine that can immediately do this, which is verifying to them that this is a masculine energy that has done the work to come into alignment with themselves at this time. Or this is feminine energy effectively saying, I'm not going to force this out of this, because the feminine recognizes that they cannot build this level of emotional intelligence into masculine energy. The masculine either needs to try to cultivate this for themselves. It's either there or it is not. It's not something that can be taught. It's something that needs to be learned. And the feminine energy is either recognizing it, and it's confirming their ability to move forward into divine union right now, or they're not. And feminine energies, again, either feeling positive and conceding that, and they're feeling the security of it and recognizing it, or they're feeling the grief, but also accepting it for what it is. Masculine right now, again, this is that moment if you're trying to come into partnership with feminine, this is that moment that is effectively assessing whether you have grown into this right now, because this is effectively you relinquishing the degree or ability or desire to want to just be able to make choices autonomously at this time. You're willing to recognize that that is not a point of conflict. It's a point of positive surrender, even though you may be feeling a little bit of that grief, because again, you're recognizing that what you are relinquishing, that ability of moving entirely autonomously, has a greater gift that it comes with, which is coming into that feeling of being able to be in a space or place of alignment. For some of the masculine energy right now, this is that movement of coming into divine union at this time. And it does feel like a bit of a sacrifice. But again, it is a sacrifice that you're effectively saying is worthwhile at this time, hence bringing the divine union into play. While for the other part of the collective right now, for the masculine in moving into partnership, this is that observation point that you may not necessarily feel like you're ready to come into divine union at this time. This could be a moment that you're feeling the security of the self at this time, and you're recognizing and you're feeling that moment potentially of walking away from something, but you're feeling the ease of doing so because you feel confident and secure in this moment in terms of your choice. Masculine and feminine energy right now in separation. This is feminine energy, again, not letting themselves go into a point of overwhelm or coming back, trying to reach back out to energy that isn't in alignment with them. Because again, feminine energy is manifesting masculine energy that's in a point of already being in alignment with their emotionality, and masculine energy and emotionality is not something that would run away from partnership or from union or would block communication. They would just be open and would be expressive. So feminine energy is focusing their manifestation goals here if in separation, and that is what is relieving feminine energy of some of the grief that they're experiencing right now. It's continuing to manifest this type of energy within towards themselves at this moment, even if they're not necessarily moving towards it at this time. This is a part of that healing journey that we see that the feminine in separation is working through right now. While for masculine energy in separation right now, this is potentially talking about a lot of learning that is happening, or a lot of growth that's potentially happening right now, even in separation. Because what we're effectively seeing right now is, again, this is a masculine energy that's moving towards new partnerships, but being much more vulnerable than you have in the past. You're even potentially presenting some things to the feminine that you recognize may effectively close a door, but you're trying to be as open as possible. Hence, showing the fact that you've come into balance with your own emotional center. Or, again, this is masculine energy that is trying to move towards a feminine manifestation to try to heal a rift, even with a sense of anxiety as you do so. Hence, again, showing that you've come into emotional balance. So a lot of growth for the masculine, even in the separation process, coming into better alignment with your emotional center. We like to see this. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Five of Wands in its reversal in combination with our Six of Pentacles. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Six of Cups in its reversal. So, masculine and feminine energy that is in partnership right now. One of the things that may need to be addressed right now has to do with trauma outside of the partnership, is what we're effectively seeing. Because in the partnership right now, we are seeing reciprocity and a point of peace. There could be a lot of discussion right now happening in partnership as it relates to some feelings of overwhelm, as it relates to trauma from the past, emotional triggers, family healing that is effectively necessary at this time. This could be some kind of, what we're seeing that's effectively happening right now for the energy and partnership may have been an immediate communication hurdle that happened in the partnership itself that is unpacking or opening a box on much deeper issues that may have need deeper healing right now. Again, the power of the divine partnerships right now is us actually helping you do a lot of generational healing, because it's not the fact that you aren't effectively working through these right now, but you're giving each other support, you're finding peace, and it's helping you unlock the deeper work that needs to be done within the self. Hence, why we see these cards coming up positive now through difficult situations or circumstances. While for masculine, and this is happening in the reciprocal for both masculine and feminine right now. This is why the mirroring right now in the partnership that's divine is actually becoming a supportive process, because you're creating the space to allow each other to be vulnerable, to do this type of deeper healing work. While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is working into coming into divine union, this is the make or break point as to whether there's going to be divine union here or if it's going to be an unhealed karmic connection. Why? Because we see one party, the feminine, wants to come into divine union. Masculine, potentially vacillating as to whether you're able to come into the state of surrender of the autonomous self to do so. Feminine energy may already be at a place where seeing the vacillation of the energy has already confirmed to them that this is not going to be something that can work as it relates to a divine connection, because the feminine energy is recognizing that they cannot create balanced emotion masculine. It needs to effectively be there. The masculine energy has to be able to desire to come into divine union. They need to be able to desire it. They can't chase after it, and they certainly can't be in a place where they're not sure if they want it. The feminine energy is making it very simple. This is why not the feminine energy isn't chasing after the masculine. The feminine's looking at them and going, this is simple. You either want it or you don't, and I'm not going to fight you for it. This is either something that we give it back to each other. This is a healthy connection. Give and take, equal, without having to beg or ask for it. Or this is just going to put us in an abandonment place. We're just going to be continuing to heal, open each other's triggers, not heal each other's wounds. We'll be together. Feminine's recognizing right now the difference between being together and being in a divine union. And feminine's almost saying, I would rather not be in connection with you than be in a connection that does not feel like it is reciprocal. Masculine, you are effectively recognizing right now, this is that point of, again, either feeling the weight of an unhealed karmic connection that is potentially taking root here, recognizing that you're potentially separating from something that's going to potentially need to be healed at some point in the past, or it's going to kind of be carried with you right now. And this is that moment that, again, you're almost seeing that this is either feeling like a point of reciprocity. You're giving that give and take to heal the karmic connection. Or this is feeling like you have to sacrifice too much. This is either feeling like, again, a point of compromise for the masculine right now in this moment, a point of willing compromise, hence some sort of surrender that leads to deeper healing, i.e. divine union. Or this is feeling like, again, for masculine, that this would have to be giving too much, that something about that act of surrender is too overwhelming, and this is something that you're potentially walking away from, i.e. potentially creating an unhealed karmic connection because you're not necessarily ready to come into divine union. And again, something is coming back into a space or place of being unhealed. It's going to require some healing at some point moving forward. Masculine and feminine energy in separation right now, this is the concession that feminine's giving themselves. This is why feminine energy is going forward right now. Feminine energy is only looking for energy that's willing to reciprocate in kind. And feminine energy is recognizing that there may be a connection right now that they feel towards some energy. It's not that they don't still feel the connection to them. They're just recognizing that it's unhealed karma, that there's something here that is unhealed. But feminine's also recognizing that they cannot just be the person to heal something. It needs to be a reciprocal healing. And this is that moment that even now is almost that point of peace, because it's not necessarily the fact that feminine isn't feeling the unhealed karmic connection. Feminine's moving in a way or space right now where they're just recognizing that they're not going to give to something that isn't giving back in kind. Masculine energy, you are in the same vibration right now. If you're in separation, these energies are mirroring each other. Masculine, it's not that you're not feeling the unhealed karmic connection. It's whether you're ready to make peace with it and whether you're ready to give back in kind. And so again, for some of the masculine collective, this is going back to heal the karmic connection that needs to be healed right now, recognizing that it's going to take a point of concession. It's going to take a point of surrender. This is either feeling, much like we just saw with the energy that is trying to come into partnership. See the alignment? This is either going to feel like an act of reciprocity, something that feels balanced because you've done this work into coming into your balance. Or it is not something that you're ready to do. You're going off, you're bringing it to somewhere else, and you're potentially carrying the weight of the unhealed karmic connection. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now, between our Eight of Swords in its reversal in combination with our King of Cups. May I please have one card to clarify? Two cards to clarify. Busy day. Wow, they are two big cards. This is good. This is good. Okay. Whoop. Come back here. Come back here. We need you. We need you coming. No, you're this way. Stay that way. Stay that way. All right. What are we seeing right now? What are we seeing that's happening right now in the partnerships? Triggering situations that are allowing for closure. Things are getting unpacked right now in the partnership. May even be old traumas that people are carrying, needing to talk about those trigger points. Why are we talking about the trigger points? Masculine is assuring the feminine energy. They're not happening here. Masculine, you may even be seeing right now in partnership that the feminine energy is highly triggered and they're unpacking the trigger. Masculine saying, that's not happening here. This is a stop to that. That's why they can express it, because feminine is expressing an anxiety. Masculine's immediately quashing the anxiety. Masculine saying, don't worry, that's not happening here. Thank you for telling me that's not happening here. You can be vulnerable around me. That's not happening here. I'm supporting you. I'm not trying to confine you. I'm making sure you understand that this is a safe space for you to unpack these things so that we can put them to rest. Masculine, you are potentially also doing this right now in the partnership. This is the equal vulnerability shared in the partnership that's allowing you to also do this type of unpacking. So this is happening on a mutual level right now. And the masculine is potentially also feeling this, which is helping them upgrade and again, kind of find that point of balance because the partnership itself allows for the vulnerability and safe space to do so. Feminine, you're seeing this with the masculine. You're seeing a masculine energy that you can, again, you can be open and expressive about your triggers and they don't get triggered by them and they don't react. They allow you the space to be able to open up about them, and that's what's supporting the partnership. That is what is giving you further confirmation that this is a safe space for you to navigate going forward. It is feeling the devastation of something, and instead of feeling like it's an ending, it feels like a liberation, right? Masculine and feminine energy that is trying to come into partnership at this time. This is either masculine, you are either feeling the full weight of being totally vulnerable in something, even through something that feels very triggering, but you are allowing this to be a moment that you come into emotional balance, i.e. coming into divine partnership, being willing to concede, being willing to open up, being willing to take these steps right now is a moment that may feel very triggering, and you recognize is the end of a cycle right now because, again, you're moving into divine union, and thereby you are abandoning this self-autonomous journey for the sake of a partner journey, and that is the liberation point that brings you into emotional balance. The other part of the masculine energy right now, this is a bridge too far. This is something that you don't necessarily feel that you are prepared for right now. You are staying true to oneself. You're staying true to the autonomous journey. And this is effectively you potentially walking away from a partnership right now, feeling the comfort and security of one's own sense of autonomy at this moment. Feminine energy in partnership at this time, this is already something that the feminine energy has identified. Whatever's occurred right now between the masculine energy, this is either a masculine energy where feminine had a need, masculine immediately tried to move forward towards that need, or masculine vacillated. And this is that moment that something about observing the masculine in this capacity is either confirming for the feminine energy that is trying to come into partnership that this is a masculine energy that they can trust through a difficult trigger, and that is reinforcing moving into divine union. Or this is feminine energy walking away from an energy that they feel a lot of passion for, a lot of emotionality for, but identifying that the masculine energy isn't necessarily ready to be in divine union. Masculine and feminine energy right now that is in separation. Feminine is doing all of this on their self. Feminine energy is unpacking all of their own trauma. Feminine energy may even have some support around them right now that they're trying to do so with. But again, feminine energy is keeping their focus on masculine energy that is in a point of emotional balance, that is effectively what they're trying to move towards at this time. That is why the feminine energy is going through a point of overwhelm, but they're not necessarily moving towards masculine. They're kind of holding firm with allowing themselves to embody what they are feeling. Masculine energy and separation at this point, this is again you taking that other approach, you being very open, being very vulnerable to the new feminine energy that you're moving towards right now in a way that you haven't before, because you've reached this point of balance, and it is allowing an ability to recognize the healing. And it may be feeling a little triggering and traumatizing, because if you're doing this right now, you may have just unlocked and realized that feminine is a lot more open to you, aren't they? They probably are a lot more open to you when you're open to them. And masculine, you may be feeling the full weight of this in terms of recognizing now, if you're doing this, almost like having to look back at past situations and realizing that had you been this vulnerable, things may not have gone the way that they've gone in the past. While for masculine energy right now, that is trying right now to go back towards a feminine energy, this could be you having to be able to do this towards a feminine energy that you now require, and I understand you're going to have to do a lot of this work with. This is that point, again, that could be feeling a lot of overwhelm, because this is you effectively going towards that energy and taking full accountability of what has passed between you, because you've come into that state of growth and you're effectively articulating how much you've grown to the energy. Clarification between King of Cups in combination with our Six of Cups in its reversal. Big cards today. Triggering energy. May I please have one card to clarify? Chariot in its reversal. Okay, how do we fix something? We have to see what's broken in order to fix something. All right, masculine and feminine energy right now in partnership, this may be occurring a lot today. This could be an identification of things that aren't working so that there's better alignment going forward. And it's triggering. Whatever's not working, it may have a lot to do with some deeper wounds, some outside situations, or maybe a lot of unpacking right now about energies, triggers right now in partnership that feels very heavy, but it's also helping to identify what needs to be corrected and how you're going to get in better alignment going forward. Right? Masculine and feminine energy are doing this work right now. Masculine, this is unlocking things for you as you do so. Feminine is feeling the support of an open masculine energy that can handle their triggers, all to work for that long-term goal going forward that feels like it's in better alignment. This is what's empowering the feminine right now, because it's the security of the masculine in balance right now that can handle this type of work without allowing it to become an immediate trigger. It's more of a thing of looking what needs to be fixed. Not exacerbating a problem when it's discovered, but immediately trying to come to the repair of it. This is like Mr. Fixer energy in partnership right now. Feminine energy, masculine energy at this moment, this could also be something that you are recognizing with the feminine. The feminine energy is effectively unpacking these things for you right now, but all to identify and describe how to fix something. That's what's allowing the divine unions to continue to feel that point. This is something that needs to be fixed, but it's almost being fixed in a very practical way by unpacking a lot of the traumas and triggers behind it. To do so, it's like getting to the heart of something. Masculine and feminine energy trying to come into partnership right now. This is that moment that we're effectively seeing that, again, this is either the feminine energy identifying a masculine energy that has the ability to make a compromise, meet them where they're at, hence the ability to go forward together into divine union, or that this hurts because the feminine energy is looking at someone that they feel passion for, they feel emotional connection for, but they're recognizing does not have that ability. And this is something that is potentially having to be walked away from, even carrying a lot of that feeling, because there's some kind of feeling or anxiety that while there may be a lot of sentiment towards this energy, that there isn't an ability to have that path going forward. So this is that hard journey right now that we're seeing the feminines effectively going through if they're trying to come into partnership at this time, all being identified by the actions of the masculine. Masculine, this is effectively a moment right now that you're looking towards energy and you're asking yourself, are you ready to go into divine union? There's something here that you're feeling like it's now, like you either need to identify or articulate the path, or you realize that the path is being cut. That this isn't an energy that's willing to like stay or operate in a plateau, that there needs to be that ability to see forward right now, or there doesn't. And you're recognizing right now that either you need to kind of lay that path forward right now, i.e. go into divine union, and you're ready for it, or you're not ready and you're recognizing that you have to create an unhealed karmic energy here, but you're also finding the security and feeling the autonomy of the self in the process. Masculine and feminine energy in separation right now. This is, again, feminine energy, just feeling the weight of unhealed karmic energy, but also not necessarily moving towards it. Why? Because the feminine energy is recognizing the difference between an unhealed karmic energy that they may feel connection to, but they recognize is not in alignment in terms of the path going forward, versus an energy that would just be in alignment with the feminine. This is what feminine's keeping their manifestation to. Again, feminine saying, I know I may feel the energy and the passion towards an unhealed karmic connection, but there's no path forward, and I'm not going to try to drive forward in a direction where someone's not moving in the same direction as me. I'm just going to try to manifest a balanced masculine energy that wants what I want and is willing to give it to me. Masculine energy right now, again, if you are in separation, this is effectively that moment that we are identifying that this is either a point that you are trying to move forward, taking a different tactic, being more vulnerable than you ever have before. It's just really hard when you do this, masculine, because you may already be seeing the results that are so much different than what came before. So even going forward in this way is giving you clarity on unhealed karmic connections that you're still carrying, because you're now identifying what didn't work then, because you weren't at this point of being open and vulnerable. So it's almost like it's like the bittersweet weight masculine of effectively now immediately being vulnerable, immediately seeing a result, and then suddenly feeling the full weight of the unhealed karmic connections that did not work in the past because you weren't able to do this in that capacity. Or this is masculine energy having reached this level or degree, setting the full intention on trying to heal a karmic energy that you now recognize is unhealed by trying to articulate that you now understand what went wrong in the past because you weren't here yet. Final cards for today's spread between our 10 of Swords, our Tower in its reversal, and our Chariot. Guys, this is like, what happened today? This is all gotta fix some stuff. Look at these cards today, man. What happened? I take a break for one day and this is what happens when I take my break? I'm sorry. I won't take a break again. All right. All correction. Everything needs to be correction. Screeching halt energy, but I need to stress screeching halt energy to see what needs to be fixed. Okay? This is good though. This is like screeching halt to fix something, to identify something going in the wrong direction. Okay? May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with, what did I say? We got to address the problem. Everything, this is record scratch. Everything stop. We need to address the problem. What is the problem is what we're really seeing here is effectively happening. There's something here. This is good. Somebody got triggered. Something got triggered. Okay, but what we appreciate for the energy and partnership right now is this is not something that you're just rolling over it, right? This is why the partnership is important, because the partnership is saying, whoa, 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 whoa. All right, look, we're not going to pretend that didn't happen. We just hit this bump. We're going to address it to understand what the problem is so that it doesn't become a problem in going forward, so that we can change it. This isn't, and this is what's so valuable right now, is again, this isn't something in partnership that's being overlooked. This is something that like everybody's going, we need to address this because we need to fix it, because this is too big and clearly too triggering to just pretend that these things aren't happening. It's getting to the heart of something to allow for transformation to occur. But first, there must be that point of identification. In partnership, this is a lot of heavy energy, as this is what is being tackled right now, all to be able to get to a point of easement. For energy right now that is coming into partnership, this is it. There's already something that's happened here. For the feminine energy, this may already be the moment of like potentially already healing from something before someone realizes it's over, because feminine's seen something here. We're seeing trying to come into partnership right now. The feminine can't unsee. This is feminine either saying we're on the same page or we're not. Either this is something that you're trying to fix right now, or this is something I'm trying to fix within the self. This is feminine either identifying and seeing the fact that this is a masculine that's on the same page of them, or isn't. So this is either feminine immediately moving into divine union or going back into separation. Masculine, this is that moment that, again, you are potentially addressing the hurdle within the self. You may be identifying or understanding right now or seeing the fact that feminine, again, even if you're doing this, there's a point of growth happening because you're now identifying and recognizing something in a way that you haven't before. If you're trying to come into partnership, you're kind of seeing potentially that this is either something that you are willing to change within the self, or you're making the intentional choice not to. Either way, growth occurs. Progression occurs in understanding the self. Masculine and feminine energy in separation right now. Feminine energy. This is feminine energy identifying their own hurdle. Feminine energy recognizes that they're healing from something. They're trying to recover from something. It's almost traumatizing to try to come back into partnership, because coming into partnership almost reminds them of what they're trying to heal. Feminine energy is trying to address this blockage within the self right now. Because feminine energy is just focusing on healing the unhealed karmic connection so they can move forward towards their manifestation goal. Masculine energy in separation right now is effectively at this point that we're seeing that, again, this is either masculine energy now moving towards feminine from a point or space of deeper vulnerability. You're now opening up in a way that you haven't to feminine before, and you're immediately seeing what the problem was. You're immediately seeing you're almost getting immediately triggered. You're seeing a different result. And it's making you suddenly realize what went wrong with past circumstances or situations. This is retroactive healing that's happening right now for masculine energy if you've just come into this energy, because now you're seeing the results that are different if you're vulnerable to feminine versus what you're experiencing now versus what's happened in the past. It's requiring you to get to the space of recognizing deeper healing. It's almost like it's like a domino effect of suddenly being like, I get it now. You know? Masculine energy right now in separation. Again, this is either you unlocking this understanding within the self and what went wrong in past scenarios, because you're now able to be this emotionally vulnerable or expressive. And so it's hard even as you do so, because it's almost like unlocking things about your own trauma in the process that you need to recalibrate. Or this is a moment that you are trying to go back to a karmic energy and tell them fully, I understand now. I understand exactly what you experienced. I understand exactly what you were asking me for. I understand exactly what the hurdle was, because I've now come into this. And I'm now vulnerable enough that I can open up and express that to you. Bottom of the deck on today's reading. Everybody needs to be nice today, okay? That's all I'm going to say. I want everybody to be nice today. Everybody's abandonment wounds are coming out to play today. I want everybody to count to 5 before you say anything. I don't want anybody responding from triggers. Don't tell me that you just shot off from your mouth today when you're feeling triggered, okay? You're gonna count to 5. Everybody is feeling deeply triggered. Everybody's abandonment wounds are coming out to play today. Again, circumstances don't change people. Circumstances reveal people. And I want you to be moving right now with deep intentionality. Okay? There's a lot of triggers at play today. How we navigate them. Okay? We don't move because of the fear. We observe the fear and then we respond. Make sure that you're doing that right now, okay? I want you to hold fast, keep that faith, keep that intentionality as you proceed forward from this point. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and experiencing it with me. Just a reminder, if you'd like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, Strega.com. My private readings are done over video. And if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber ID at the point of payment. Please remember, if you book a reading on my website, thank you for the gift. It is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading and you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you would like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember, please remember that I will never, ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never inbox you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your DMs and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I encourage you to do it there. I want to thank all of you for being here today and sharing with me in this reading. And we will do this again tomorrow. Guys,